Year 1944, Aspen, Colorado. It was evening time. A 23-year-old man was standing outside a small house in the middle of the mountains with a bottle of alcohol in his hand. This house belonged to a drug addict who had left this profession many years ago. In a state of intoxication, the man was staring at the house, and there was only one name on his lips: Sarah. This name gave him restlessness, and all the old memories used to come back to him. As soon as the man went ahead to enter the house, a woman came out of the house, who was getting old. The woman had fear on her face. She stopped the man from entering the house, snatched the bottle of alcohol from his hand, and broke it. The man was staring at the woman without blinking his eyes. And then some words came out of the woman's mouth which changed the man's world. "I am like your mother. You go away from here. You had lost everything in your last birth, and now you want to lose everything again." Last birth? Who was this man? And that woman, was she Sarah? On February 7, 1921, John Miller was born in Chicago, Illinois, where children learn to speak a few words in 10 months. John started saying Springfield. How was such a small child able to speak such heavy words? No one had an answer to this. When John was 4 years old, he went to a wedding with his father. On his way back, his train stopped at a station called Springfield. As soon as he heard the announcement of the station, he started insisting on getting down from the train. When his father tried to stop him, he started crying and said that he used to live here. His father was left speechless. Was this really a memory of his last birth or just an illusion? This went on for a few years. And then one day, an article was published in a newspaper. This article was by a lawyer named K.K. Nandan Sahai. In this, he told about the memories of his son's last birth, and he increased such cases to bring them to light, after which he came to know about John's story. A few days later, lawyer Sahai went to meet him at John's house. Sahai asked John a lot of questions and started documenting his memories. John told him that in his last birth, his name was David Williams, and he lived in Springfield. John identified many places and people related to his last birth. And then to confirm all these things, John Miller reached Springfield with Sahai. He met his mother of the last birth, that is, David Williams's mother. David's mother asked John a lot of questions which were not answered by anyone other than David Williams. But John answered all those questions without thinking, as if he knew everything for a long time. Sahai noted all these things and prepared a document, and took his research with him and went back home. And this investigation stopped here. Many years later, reincarnation expert Ian Stevenson reopened this case and started investigating this. He first found out that did John have any way he could know about David Williams, but he didn't find anything like that. After this, with the help of Sahai's writings, Ian Stevenson started moving forward in this case. David Williams was the only son of a rich farmer, Harry Williams. After his father's death, he left studies and started enjoying his money. Good food, fine clothes, beautiful women, and different types of addictions. David Williams never got married, but he was deeply attached to a prostitute who lived in his town. David Williams was completely crazy about this prostitute named Sarah. So much so that once in this passion, he killed a man in broad daylight. It so happened that once David Williams saw a man leaving Sarah's house. As soon as he saw this, his anger increased so much that without thinking twice, he snatched his servant's gun and shot that man. The police followed him for many days, but he managed to escape the hands of the law because of his money. After this incident, David Williams left Springfield and went to Denver. Only after a few days of coming here, his health started deteriorating. After suffering from many diseases for 5 months, on December 15, 1918, David Williams died at the age of 35. Sarah had a very special place in David Williams's life. It was Sarah because of whom David did not get married for his entire life, and kept her as his mistress and lived with her. All these things were also seen in John's life. At the age of 5, John told his father to also keep a mistress. He would have a lot of fun spending time with her. Like David Williams, John was also very attached to Sarah. In childhood, Sarah used to come to meet John many times, and he would recognize her in a moment and sit on her lap and then talk to her for many hours. Not only this, John also remembered every detail of the murder of the man who left Sarah's house, and he used to proudly announce how he killed a man to get Sarah. When John turned 23, he called Sarah to his office to meet her. He was so excited that he fell unconscious when he saw Sarah. But this did not end there. That same evening, John, with the intention of bringing back the old memories, reached Sarah's house. Sarah told John that she is of her mother's age, and therefore it is better for her to leave. John Miller was very sad, but without saying anything, he returned home. After this incident, John and Sarah never met again. About 2 years later, John got married, and Sarah's chapter finally ended. recorded. According to Stevenson, 46 statements of John Miller were recorded. In the end, from all these statements, Ian Stevenson found the connection of John Miller's two statements in David Williams's life. Among all these, there was one special thing: the treasure hidden in David Williams's house. Years ago, David's father, Harry Williams, hid some gold coins in a room of his house before his death. Only David Williams knew about this, except Harry Williams. John found out about that room, although he could not tell the exact location of the treasure. But it is said that after digging, a pile of gold coins was found in this room. David Williams's influence was seen in John's many activities which were totally opposite to his present situation. John often blamed his father for his poverty. He used to cry while asking for money. He used to tear his clothes. He once even said that even his servant would not eat the food cooked here. Not only this, David Williams's many bad habits also started coming in John's life, like drinking alcohol, eating non-veg secretly, shouting, getting angry. Although his past memories were slowly fading away, but his influence was not over yet. Bad habits and memories related to David Williams had such a deep impact on John's mind that because of this, he used to have a strange restlessness. He used to believe that all his problems and struggles were the result of his past actions, especially the murder of that man. Growing up, John controlled all those traits which were the reason for David Williams's downfall, and spent his life without any spark. In today's time, the case of John Miller is discussed in many places, but it is not limited to a single person or community. In many Hindu Puranas like Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned about reincarnation. In the 4th chapter of Garuda Purana, Lord Vishnu tells Garuda that just like we change our clothes, a soul changes its body, and takes many births in this world. This soul carries with it the impressions of the past life. Not only this, in some studies related to reincarnation, it has been proved, according to quantum theory, our consciousness and our body are two different entities, and that is why even after death, our consciousness remains alive, which can be attached to a new brain and bring back the memories of our past life. Even today, many people do not believe in reincarnation or reincarnation concept, but there are many cases which prove that it is true.